Hey everybody. So this is like the number one conversation that I have still with my clients, with people in general, just across the board. And that is with regards towards models versus data. I think people's heads are very much in the wrong place when it comes to this particular subject. And I blame it a lot on the Web 2.0, and then more specifically and more recently on the kind of like app and like app like mobile apps and the whole like app ecosphere in general. And so within this, what I mean very specifically is that people are putting emphasis on the models and not the data, which is the exact opposite of what smart companies are doing, right? Like if you look at like who's actually doing things and what are they doing in this space, they're not focusing on the models. You're focusing on the models, right? Like, and then so it's uh, like this is a perfect example. So this is a Vox article, and this is who's selling your data. And then this Vox article is essentially saying that everyone is selling your data. Tumblr, Reddit, WordPress, across the board, right? Like it's they're selling data and they're getting into the data game. They recognize how important the data game is. And then in the data game, what you're going to realize and what people don't understand within that yet is that there's two avenues within it. There's the wide approach, and then there's the narrow approach. And then we're seeing very explicitly the wide approach right now, right? Because it's just easy and it's the easiest market to understand and to capitalize on. And then so what we're seeing in the wide approach is essentially, do you have data? Are you Tumblr, Reddit, WordPress? Are you like GeoCities that existed 25 years ago? Are you like Netscape? It doesn't matter, right? Do you have data? Then and you have a lot of it, then we want it. But you're not like there's a huge market. Like people are like, wow, this market I didn't know it existed, but you don't even understand yet that this narrow market exists, and that the narrow market is bigger than this once you understand and you get past the actual like model debate, right? And to me the model debate is like, oh well, like is it like, is it just like a GPT wrapper, or like is it just like what exactly are you like, are you using your own model on the back end, like etc., right? And then it's again, like that's not the discussion to be had within this. Like the I think that the simplest way to express this and show this to you is so this example I have here, right? And then so this is just I just prompted Gemini, and then for this very specifically, and then because it's just a really easy example, right? And then the prompt is create a simple neural network. Can you create a 5-layer neural network using as few lines of code as possible? And then so it spits out and this like example of a neural network that it spits out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, full 5 layers. Just making sure, right? And then so it's good to go overall. And then it's real simple example here. I think that this code would honestly error, just being flat out. I think that this, like looking at this overall, but I mean, this gives you an example of if we're talking models, like here's a model, right? Like right here, like it's not going to do anything because it needs data behind it, right? And then the data, going back to that conversation, the data is everything within this conversation overall, right? And that's, I mean, what I can't highlight enough within this is that as we get deeper and deeper into AI and like overall discussions, what you have as far as data is going to matter far more than anything else in this equation. And having control over your data is going to matter far more than anything else within this equation. And then, so I think more and more what you're going to see is selling of that data, right? And then so just giving you an example, like I am not sponsored by anything within any of this, right? And then so just highlighting that up front. But so this is an example that I've seen pop up of this is a website called Prompt Base, and then so it's like you can literally sell prompts, like buy and sell prompts, right? And so people are starting to understand, to me, like at first I kind of blew this off, but like people are making money and revenue off of this, right? Which is why I highlight this. And then so uh, within this, it's again the narrow data. That's specifically what you are selling and buying and selling on this particular website, right? Like you're buying like I want to make very specific patterns. I want very specific prompt. I want the model to do something very specific and very narrow. So it's uh, ownage and possession of that data, right? And then so as we get further and further, it's again data is what is going to be for sale, right? Like I see essentially like maybe within, let's say, like 5 years time, it's rather than like having like the gates be around like websites and things like it is now, it's going to be around data, right? Like it's like um, rather than like going to like an e-commerce website for something, you'll buy data for something, and then that data is what will actually be the revenue model for a lot of companies. Like you look at like JP Morgan is a huge example. I mean, like I can't highlight JP Morgan. Like, people are sleeping on a lot of these things to me, but so like JP Morgan made, I think it's $67 billion in profit last year, and then it's they're in the AI and the data game. Like that's what they're. A lot of companies that you wouldn't think of are starting to get into this, right? And then so it's, I mean, if companies are getting into it, you should be paying a lot more attention to it than you are. And like the corporate perspective on all of this is like the models don't matter. It's all about the data, and the smart people are figuring that out, and then going through. And then so it's like at this point, like people are very loose with their data, like giving data away for free, and then at the same time, like there's not a lot, like they're valuing the wrong things, right? So I think it's you're going to see a complete flipping of this equation, like as more and more knowledge spreads overall, is I guess kind of the bottom line. So like if you're it's a good time to collect data at this point, I guess overall would be the bottom line within that. But the smart bet is not on models overall, but on data. So, like, the more unique data that you have, and the more that you can prove that your data actually has impact on like some level, and you have marketability within that, like that's what's going to matter across the board more than anything else. I think, especially moving forward within the next few years. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.